So, are you a systems engineer that's responsible for mapping out the design and infrastructure of your cloud network for the organization that you work for? Or are you a software developer that's trying to map out the process of an application that you're building? Well, I have an application that's right up your alley for those scenarios. What's up, guys? It's Josh back with another video, and today I wanted to show you a simple application that anyone can use on your Linux operating system as well as in the web that'll allow you to do some mind mapping. And the application I'm talking about is Draw.io, and this is an open source project that can allow you to set up diagrams or whiteboarding, so to speak, so you can mind map whatever project you're working on. Now let me switch over to the browser so I can show you guys the actual GitHub page for this application. Okay, cool. So here is the GitHub page for Draw.io. The website is diagrams.net, and I'll open that up in a second, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit about it. It says source to app.diagrams.net. There's the README. It's under the Apache 2.0 license, and it's a super popular application. And it's currently being developed on, I believe, is open source but closed source to development or contributors. So they only have a select amount of contributors, or they reach the max of contributors at the moment that they need in order to continue pushing this project forward. It's currently on version 15.9.6 and it was updated 3 days ago. But as you can see, this is the code, and let's read a little bit about it. It says Draw.io. This project is configurable diagramming, whiteboarding, visualization application. Draw.io is owned and developed by JGraph Ltd, a UK-based software company. As well as running this project, we run a production grade development of the diagram interface at apps.diagram.net. So that's how you can actually get to it, and you can actually use the software from the browser. And I'll open that up right fast, but let's read. Like I said, it's using Apache version 2 license. But also right here it says the JGraph provides icons and diagram templates or a license under CC by BY 4.0. Additional terms may also apply where the icons are originally defined by third-party copyright holders. And let's actually scroll down and read the scope. But it says the application is designed to be used largely as is. It's possible to alter the major parts of the interface, but if you're looking for an editor with very specific editing features, the project is likely not a good base to use. That is to say, if you wanted to deploy a whiteboard diagram application where the functionality in the main canvas is as this project provides, it's more likely to be a good base to use. The default libraries, the menus, the toolbars, the default colors, the storage location, these can all be changed. So that just breaks out what you can all do with the application if you decide to actually create your own. Now we scroll down right here. It says one way to run diagram.net is to fork the project, publish the master branch to GitHub page, and the page sites will have the full editor functionality. So that's if you want to do it that way. And it says another way is to use the recommended Docker project or download Draw.io desktop, which is what we're going to do in this video. But I just kind of wanted to show it to you guys, or at least read that to you so you guys can understand how to actually use the application. But the supported browsers of diagram.net, it supports Chrome 70 plus, Firefox, Safari, Opera, native Android browser 7X plus, the default browser. So pretty much all current browsers it is supported, at least the major ones. And it also says Edge, ISO version, certain version of ISO as well. And this is what I was talking about. It's open source, not open contribution. So They don't allow just anybody to contribute to the project. So it's an open source project. As you can see the code and all that stuff. So now let's get into the website. I wanted to show you guys this, but the first thing that'll pop up, you can save your diagram in a different location, or you could decide this later once you build it out. But it has the options to save it to Google Drive, OneDrive, some device, or probably your device, Dropbox, and then GitHub, and then GitLabs. But we're gonna click decide later. But this is basically the application, and you can use it within the browser, and it's already set up for you. You can share it with different people. If you click that, you have to have a Google Drive, or you have to have it stored in Google Drive and OneDrive, in order to actually share it that way. So that's the easiest way to actually use it. But as you can see, I've used applications like this in the past, and it was mainly when I was setting up networks or designing a network infrastructure. I would use a diagram application like this. I believe it was Microsoft that I was using, Visio, at the time. Well, this is essentially what that is. You know what I'm saying? You have all your little diagrams in here, and you can map out your project. And this just doesn't apply to tech projects. This applies to any type of project that you're working on. But essentially, I will use it for tech projects. But let's go down and switch over to my virtual machine so you guys can see me install it, as well as play around with it on the desktop, and we'll add some shapes and try to mind map something right fast. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, cool. So this is the operating system I'll be using today. It's Zorn 16. It's fully up to date. Now, in order to install draw.io, all you have to do is go to the software center on Zorn, and you can search for it. It's in here. Just type draw, and it should be like up at the top. Yeah, here we go. So draw.io, create and share diagram. So this is the easy way of doing it. You can actually install it from the command line if you want to as well. As you can see, it's a free application. It's free and open source. So let's go down and hit install and install it this way. But you guys know I typically install things from the command line, but this is the simplest way of actually installing applications by using the GUI. So let's wait for this thing to actually finish. I'll be back when it actually finishes, and we can go through and actually use it. Okay, cool. So we finished the install. We can actually launch it from here, or you can find it under the kind of start menu or Zorn menu, whatever you want to call it. You could just type draw.io and find it under there, or you could just launch it from here. And then I'm gonna go down and close that. It'll launch. It should launch in a couple seconds. All right, cool. So it just opened up, and the first thing that'll pop up is basically create new design, or you can open an existing design that you most likely have stored on your computer. Now let's click on create new design, and one cool thing about it, they have all these templates here, and that's why I wanted to show you guys, on a desktop version, which you can get to these templates from the web. It just pops up in the beginning here, and that's why I wanted to show you guys here. So let's scroll through here and see, but it does have a bunch of categories over here. So if you're looking at, let's say, cloud or something, you want to set up a AWS, and that's why I brought up the whole systems engineering portion. You can use these templates based on whatever cloud platform you're actually designing something for or setting up a project for. But they have AWS, Azure, GCP, which is Google, as well as IBM, which is super cool to actually see. You wouldn't expect IBM to be in there, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. And so I like GCP, so I'm gonna click on GCP, and let's go down and just let's look at them and see which ones I want to actually use. See if we can zoom in on it. Okay, cool. So it breaks it out for you. So as you can see, Google Cloud Platform, you got your streaming portion, batch portion, ETL, cloud data, streaming. But anyway, this is a good template, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're building some kind of project for work. So I'm gonna click create, As you can see, it puts in pretty much everything that was there, you know, for that template. And you can go through and modify this as you see fit. But I recommend you guys check out the templates, because this is a great place to start, especially when you're learning the application. Now let's close the sidebar, but I just want to show you guys everything that's on the screen. You can see the whole template right there, so that's super cool. And we can click on the format panel and that'll bring that back up. But as you can see, you have a whole bunch of options depending on what's selected. You see, so you got your style, text, arranging, depending on whatever is selected there. So if you click on, let's say, the line, you know, it brings that up based on whatever you have selected. So just want you guys to at least see that. And if you want to change the text, you can click on the text tab, and that'll allow you to change the format of the text. You can change the font style, you know, italicize certain things, center, you know, font color. You can change the color up if you want to, you know, word wrap, format text, you know, opacity, as well as, let's see, under the arrange, you can use the arrange section to arrange a particular one. So it says to the front, to the back, you know, bring forward, send backwards. So that's a good way of arranging all your shapes. And now let me start back up here at the top and show you guys the menu, the main menu. But basically, you know, you got your new, open recent, save. You can save it. You can also export it into different formats. That's one thing I want to show you guys. And you can export it, and they have PNG, JPEG, SVG, PDF, you know, VSDX, that's a beta, HTML, XML, and URL. And then also the advanced, but you can also embed it. That's super cool. When I was actually going through this application, you can embed this diagram, you know, in an image, SVG, HTML, iframe, Google Doc, Google Slide, Google Sheets, you know, Microsoft Office as well. And then you have your notations down there as well. Now here are your libraries, and then properties, page setup. So if you need to go in there and modify that, but that's everything under file. But edits, and you have your basic edit, you know, options, undo, redo, cut, paste, deletes, duplicate, you know, edit geometry, edit style, edit data, you know, all the information that you want to edit is there. Now let's get back to the view. So we'll click on view. You can change up the view if you want to. You can show the outlines, you know, the defaults seems like they are good, but you can also put it in full screen, which is super cool. Now extras, they do have themes, so you can go through and mess with the themes. One of them I wanted to start was or check out was the dark theme. So let's press OK, and we have to, let's save this right fast. That way we can see the format as well, because it stores it in an XML format. I just wanted you guys to see that as well. That's why I went on and saved the actual document. But let's just name it test diagram, and let's just hit save. That'll save it in my documents. And then we're gonna close right fast and then open up the application again. We'll open it up from the actual file itself. So let's double click on it. Well, actually that didn't work. Let's right click on it. And hit open with other application. And let's see if we can find draw.io. There we go. So let's hit select, boom. That'll open up that test.diagram for us in dark mode. So super cool. I just wanted to show you guys that as well. Under extras, you know, you can modify the theme if you want to. And then they have some other options. You have plugins as well, configuration as well. You can edit the diagram. I'm not too familiar with the plugins, so I'm not gonna go through and show you guys that. I haven't played around with the plugins at all. So but under help, you know what I'm saying, you can search for something that you're trying to find. They also have keyboard shortcuts, you know, that'll break out all the shortcuts for you, and it'll actually bring up the web page for you, so you can look at the options there. So that's all the shortcuts right there. We're gonna go down and close that. We don't need to see that. But under help, you also have, you know, you can go straight to the website. They do have a quick start video, and that'll open that up. and then fork me on GitHub if you want to, but the current version is 15.8.7. That's the version that's here, which is a little behind from the version that's on the GitHub page. So just so you guys know, it's a little behind. That's the way it is with a lot of Linux repositories. They're always a little behind because they have to go through the testing phase and make sure the application or the new version of the application works, and then they update it in the repository, and then you can download the latest version if you want to. Now let's press OK. That'll close that. And that is pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. If you look on the left hand side, you know, you got your scratch pad, you got your general shapes, so they have text, you know, rectangles, pretty much all the stuff there. And if we minimize that, we can look at all the other categories. So you got miscellaneous, and we'll open that up as well, but you can see, you know, it's got some cool shapes in here, you know what I'm saying? You can put a table in there, you know, colored shapes, you know, all kind of stuff. And let's go under advanced so you can see a little bit more there, but it's super cool, you know, all the shapes that they have in this actual application. And like I said, it kind of reminds me of Microsoft Visio, which is something that I heavily used earlier in my career when I was designing and planning out projects. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please check out draw.io. It's an excellent open source application, and go ahead and consider switching over to Linux so you can play around with all this super cool open source programs that are out there that accomplish pretty much the same thing you could do on a closed source operating system like Microsoft and Mac OS. But if you can, go down and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And also consider leaving a comment down below if you have any questions on this application I just showed, or in Linux in general, or if you just want to say hi, just leave a comment down below and I'll definitely respond. I try to respond to all the comments that are on my videos. Of course, the channel is growing a little bit, so it's a little bit harder for me to keep up with everything, but even if it takes me a while, I'll definitely respond to your comment. But I hope you guys have a good night, and of course, keep it techie.